And it is Adysky. Take it away, boys.
All right. I guess we're just starting. No, okay, sure, yeah. We're heading into the map here right away. We're already in the first mid, and we see just apparently big blokes. They're doing pretty well. Olga's already dead. Corentin has also died, though. And there goes Dewo. I think this is probably a mid that's going to go the way of blokes here, as they try to clean up the last few stragglers, like good old Alien there, just caught out. And they're going to be moving forward from this midpoint.
Yeah, we've just tuned into basically Mac just walking over the point and basically destroying all of the Frenchies at once with both of his bombing weapons, and now they're crashing forward. The Ubers are pretty even at this time, but it looks like big blokes are going to be stabilized so far.
Yeah, they're definitely like having a lot of aggression here. I mean, obviously also coming off of that win last game. I don't know how the Frenchies played, but they're going to be trying to just maybe keep it rolling, you know, use that momentum theory. It does exist. People do believe in it sometimes. Let's see. It does look like there's a little bit of a stalemate building here. I have noticed that Olga is on the Conjurer, which is a pretty nice thing to see. And we have Lef on the Sniper as well. So there's already a lot of gimmicks coming out, just mere minutes into this game. We already have a Sniper and a Soldier using the Conch, and Lef also has an angle on Meg. Does not quite get him, unfortunately. Mula is a little too slippery for him.
It looks like Lef's just rotating around the lobby. He was entering from lower there, and
we're in a pause.
The game might be paused straight away.
Wonderful. I wonder what have happened there, but
so far we've got a red soldier mid-air just doing the bicycle.
That's nice. I would love to see that. They have a sentry up. They do have a sentry holding last here, so it's pretty important, I suppose. Pretty important to have that sometimes.
All right, so we didn't get to talk much about these teams
at all
for the game. So now that the game is paused,
good time.
We can do that. So we've got the big blokes on blue, and we've had them casted the last game, and exactly. They've won against.
They won against Aura.
Against Aura. So if you think about Aura playing against, you know, other invite team that's not in the highest caliber, you would think that they're not gonna be having a bad time.
Yeah,
they're just gonna roll that. But it looks like the big bulk gang is just coming in hot into this run and into this match as well. I don't think Frenchies are gonna give them much hard time.
Yeah. Like if they continue, as I said, if they continue that momentum off the last game, I feel like the Frenchies are going to be having a hard time putting up a real fight here. I mean, obviously, like they're known for not being the highest tier team, so could be an interesting matchup nonetheless, absolutely. But it really like depends on like the standout players of the Frenchies who like really pull in, because Zodiac's been on fire, Mac's been on fire, Piggles just doesn't die at all.
That's what I've noticed watching that match. Piggles, like, he's always super slippery, just getting out on like 10, 15, 20 HP.
Just
and
lives.
That's a huge thing for your team. Like, your team can be losing fights, but you can still recover if your medic gets out and you rebuild the Uber and you still have that advantage and you can retake the point later on. It's very important. But we've so far... Oh, we are on pause. So far we've been in a game for around 2 minutes, and we've already seen a stalemate on last, and Snakewater is very well known about stalemates in last.
Oh, Left trying to really peek aggressively there. Obviously they have a counter sniper on the side of Alien as well, and it's just going to be a back and forth, and back and forth of peeking. Left just trying to get those shots. Alien trying to do the same. He does hit a nice body shot there. Does not manage to kill Crayon though, and they're definitely aware of him now. If they weren't before, probably were, but still. I think it's really just down to which sniper gets the first cheeky shot here, or loses the 1v1.
And it looks like Clef is going to be the one.
Yep.
But this is an insane sentry gun spot. Like, it's so far forward, you do not expect it. Especially when you're running sniper on that offense, you just want to be free to peek that like far left-hand side. And when you just run into a sentry gun like that, that's a game over for you if you are not expecting it.
You cannot do anything. It's just going to be a reset for both teams. Looks like Left is back on Soldier. Alien is still on the Sniper, though.
And the gun goes down, and we see Uber from the blue team.
Indeed,
he's popping in.
Coming up. Finally, Uber comes out of Mula there as well. Way better, obviously. Mac's going to go down immediately, and yeah, the rest of his team are just going to back out of it. They do not want to have anything to do with that Uber at all if they're that disadvantaged. But they're not going to push out. The Frenchies are going to pace themselves. They're not going to take any risks here at all, even if they have the demo pick. They're gonna be taking it a little bit more slowly, it seems. I mean, they do have the full ad, so they can afford to, obviously. But yeah.
That was a very nice save by Mac. I think Pringles got just forced really early in the lobby, and Mac was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and try and force this medic, and literally hit his shots and got the Uber off of the play. So now we are just stuck on last. Again, we see Karnax, you know, in this usual sniper spot on the far right hand side. He's trying to peek into lobby and see if he can get a pick.
He doesn't look like he can get anything done, so he's gonna be trying to rotate here a little bit, maybe. Big Bloke's just playing extremely passively against the sniper as well. They're not giving him anything, any angles to peek. Like, nobody's there. He's trying to look. There's nobody there. They're just extremely far back.
But he's so far into lobby already.
He is, yeah.
He sneaked all the way through drop down.
Oh, that's a body shot. At the very least, he got F pretty low. Maybe the damage is enough. And, yep, Bloke's just immediately aggressive, pick up Olga, and pressure out anybody that was trying to be in lobby there. And maybe that pick is enough for them. You know, that's a soldier down. It's a pretty crucial thing to get.
This is a very awkward situation for the red team because they don't have a sentry gun set up.
Right.
They're running a sniper as well, so it's basically a 4v6 in a fragging classes.
Yeah, they've immediately realized that as well. Switched Connex back onto the scout here. And the Uber does come out of Pickles. And they're going to be trying to take the point here. The frags are slowly falling in their favor. I think, yeah, that's going to be around for them.
Get around.
All right.
So that's the one thing that you want to watch out for, right? If you're running a sniper and you don't have a sentry gun set up and your sniper dies or someone else dies, you're instantly in a 5v6 when you're defending a point, and that puts you in a huge disadvantage. Like, the other team can just walk in, get a Uber force or get a trade-off, and you're instantly playing holding glass on disadvantage, and that's not something you want to do.
That's never something you want to do. Right, headed into the second mid here. Both teams arriving at mid at roughly the same time. And let's see if Max just walks across the point and waves his sticky bombs around again, or if something else happens for once. Deep bomb by Dewo. Does not get anything though. Gets Zodiac pretty low, but that's about it. And or Mac actually, but yeah. Alien also gets picked up on the side and left fighting up there with Olga. Olga also getting picked up finally, and that's going to be a mid for Blokes really just off the back of those. Karnax also going down in the tail end of that. At least Mula escapes with Raph, but
that was
they're
a
being
very
chased.
slow mid overall. I didn't see like any soldiers bombing super high up.
Like I think it was just Dewo going in at the start, and that was it. Nothing else really happened after that. But at least Raph escaped with Mula, so like they will maybe try to contest the second point.
No, it looks like we are about to see a Uber trade on site.
There it is.
So we get the Ubers out of the way, and afterwards it's just going to be a big fight. But most of the blue team is not ready for this fight. Okay, never mind.
Maybe they are. They did kill Raph there. Left was just in behind and picked him up because he was out of the Uber range. And Alien also goes down. It looks like it's just going to be another one fight. They do pick up Zodiac, but Karnax just gets piped down trying to escape. And this might just be Blokes rolling forward into last tier. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that. I mean, it's just two soldiers. The scout just now spawned. Soldiers are trying to jump, but they're just getting denied and just not much done. They just can't really do much here.
But if Frenchie's still with their demo up, you know, he can sticky up the point.
Yes, at best. That being said, he is being bombed, does live for now.
He's getting focused very hard, but he's getting all of the heals dumped into him. Finally, he goes down. But he's been stalling this point for so long, but it's like the big Bloke land.
They do take the round of that, but that was good. Like, good play by them, trying to keep Raph alive as long as possible. It definitely stalled them a little longer. If maybe, you know, that went a little bit more in their favor, they could have actually held that.
They're very good at leapfrogging, right? They win a fight, and then they're just picking off people right after every fight and just roll those points, just points in a row.
Right, let's see this third mid. It's a pretty quick game so far, but let's see. Maybe the Frenchies have a response to the Blokes this time around. As just a little bit of spam being exchanged at the start of every mid. This is how it works. Finally, a bomb coming in by Crayon. Just decides to cut it a little short, and he gets onto the medic. Does not quite finish it off, unfortunately. Mula does go very low though. He's on 6
so
HP.
weak.
5 HP and he lives.
And they're still staying in a fight. Even though the numbers are better for the Frenchies, I don't think they can just get in. They don't have the position.
He died. They picked up Mula. He's dead. Karnax dies as well. They're just going to try to scramble, try to get Pickles on, but Pickles is already so far back. He does lose all of the people protecting him, but he's...
But Lev still behind him gets Raph. And he's still on a hunt.
They finally picked him up. He should have just kill-blinded there, honestly. He had like 4 people chasing him at one point. But yeah, that late death is going to really hurt the Blokes here. They're definitely going to be having to probably even set up on last, maybe. I don't know. It depends on how much time they can buy.
It looks like it's just going to be 20% out for the Frenchies. Oh, maybe around 25. I think this is very holdable, especially on Snakewater, where most of the teams are going to decide to push out lower. By the time the enemy team gets on the 2-point, you get those extra 25%. So it should be pretty safe for the big blow clan to hold the second point.
That late frag onto Pickles really saved them. That he decided to just die so lately, but oh well. Let's see how this stalemate or this point progresses, as neither team is really at their Uber just yet. Mula's getting very close, and we already have aggression coming in by
Olga's already bombing.
Going high, trying to cause a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a drawing the views, and Zodiac does go down. Let's get fragged by Alien, and I guess that's going to be enough to just push the blokes out. They're like, all right, we lost a player. Let's not take any risks. Let's go to last and maybe take these exchanges, because that's probably what's going to happen.
Looks like they just want to keep rolling.
They're already rolling.
This pick. Olga's, again, just jumping in, creating space for his team. I think they're just trying to get a force off. Fernax goes down, Olga goes down, so that's 2 players down.
They didn't quite manage with that sack wave, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of them, especially Olga. You know, he's a notorious off-classer. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these guys maybe trying to switch off now. Who knows? Maybe not if big blokes are being so aggressive. They do force the Uber out of Mula. Exchange obviously comes out of Pickles as well. They're very happy to take this one as they have the better Uber. And Left is behind, picks up Alien. Mula also goes down, just caught out. And a lot of damage there on Olga as well.
That looks so good for the Frenchies at the start. They got a pick off of the Uber trade. Their Uber was slightly better as well. But towards the end of the Uber, they started losing players one by one. And Mula was left alone, died there in the kitchen on his own.
Very unfortunate.
Hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Yeah, Blok's just going to be rolling forward here. Wrath being very aggressive, trying to contest this a little bit. He does escape with his life, but it could have gone very poorly. The rest of the French is aggressing here as well. Left going dangerously low. Carnix does get picked up though, and Left escapes with his life, so not a very good trade. You don't really consider that a good trade deal, unfortunately. Mac does go down though. Devo does have a nice bomb in onto him, and that might be enough to bite him a little bit of space. They were on the point for really long as well. They just stayed on there for so long. Crayon is also in. He's trying to jump onto the combo here. He does pick up Alien. Can't really chase Mula though, and he's gonna get into a fight here and probably lose it. But yeah, they really pressure out the Frenchies there. I mean, Mula does escape for now, but they lost 4 players.
They're down 4 players and they're about to lose their second point. They really need the Super to hold the last.
Yeah, they have to get it faster, and they have to maybe even like try to get it heavier or something, just to have like more fire to draw to something, right? Because Blokes, they're gonna be rolling forward very quickly here. I would not be surprised if they roll in very quickly, because I mean they're aware of the ad and that it's probably fading away, but just the aggression could have probably done something. I guess they're not going to be doing it. Okay.
It looks like they're just going to slow it down here in lobby. I mean, the scoreline is 2-0 up. It's 18 minutes left. It's looking very promising for them to just stalemate this game out. You know, they get a sniper up.
Yeah, they can afford to. They can. I mean, they're in the driver's seat. They can take a little bit.
Olga.
Oh,
that was so close.
He does not get to play Minecraft today, unfortunately. Pickles did die though to something.
What did Pickles?
What did he?
It looks like Pickles died to Iron Bomber.
Oh, he got spammed down by Iron Bomber. Okay, well, that's a pretty crucial pick there.
But we get a back cap?
Back cap comes through anyway. Crayon's just there.
Crayon's on a pain train.
Who needs Uber anyway when you can just cap the point?
Oh, sometimes pain trains win games.
Yeah. Who needs Uber when you can just step on the point? It works every time.
You know, sometimes you just have to bait out your medic with, you know, dropping the Uber and get the enemy to push out to just utilize the pain train.
Literally just like a 5D chess move, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, 4th round, we're headed into Big Blokes just rolling for now. Let's see if they can keep up this momentum with the Frenchies. Actually have something to respond with here. As you know, have some people take an early high ground, the usual stuff. Devo again in very, very quickly.
Crayon's just high bombing at top right. Ooh. Easily picking off Olga that was just weak, just sitting there waiting for arrow.
And yeah, that's just really off the back of that, just all the frags falling. That's a wipe.
That's just a clean push. I mean, Snakewater mid, very notorious for not being very good for soldiers. If you're just gonna sit on that top area, you're eventually just gonna get bombed, spammed, or rushed by a scout. And that's exactly what happened to Olga, right?
Speaking of, he's on the spy. He's a notorious off-classer. I'm actually surprised that this is the first time.
The Blokes are already on last.
See him. Yeah, they are on last, but they might not be aware of the spy. And if he can get the stab onto Pickles here, he does! It's a drop too! You love to see it. All right, that's going to buy his team a lot of time here, especially because they still haven't capped second. The Blokes
but they're still dropping players.
Why are they still feeding players? They just...
Alien was trying to block second and lost the 1v1, and it looks like They're gonna stabilize on last, but this is pretty bad.
This is bad, because like the blokes are just aggressing in.
Zodiac is just walking in and just rolling through everyone.
Unfortunate. Damn.
You know, sometimes you can just push into last before they are medic.
You don't need them. Especially if the enemy loses theirs as well that quickly.
And if you shoot your gun very accurate.
Yeah, if you know how to aim a gun, if you have a Kovacs aim trainer moment, you win. All right, let's head into this fifth mid here. Blokes looking like they might be able to take it here, even unless the Frenchies just pull a TCM here. Let's see if they can actually do something, have something happen here. Zodiac immediately down. The first frag finally falling in favor of Frenchies for once.
And the Frenchies are playing so much aggressive.
Oh,
to the other
big duo there, picking up Af and essentially Piggles as well with the cleanup by Olga. Olga's picking up
Olga's
Left
already on a 2K.
and picking up Raf. Sorry, Raf getting picked up by Crayon. Crayon getting picked up by Alien. The taunts as well. Blokes wiped?
Blokes wiped. But it looks like the server just turned into a trade server where people is like everyone's literally just taunting on mid. I don't know what's going on.
They're just showing off their cool taunts, you know? You paid a bunch of money for that. You want people to see how much money you've spent on their cool items.
And especially if you're getting a game casted at LAN.
Yeah, absolutely. You want people to see your cool hats, your cool taunts, your cool stuff. It's what this game is about. I mean, people call it a hat simulator for a reason.
Talking about skins.
Yeah.
Mac is
kitted out. He's kitted out. Absolutely. Look at that. Look at that cup. That cup skin. Looks beautiful. That being said, they do find themselves on their last, and yeah, the Uber comes in from the Frenchies. No Uber to be spoken of yet from the side of Piggles, and not many frags fallen just yet. Alien actually being the first to go into the sentry that hasn't even been destroyed yet. It finally goes down, but Af just has the crits and just destroys Mula, and the frags are falling in the favor of the blokes here. Olga's in, and he's just gonna die, and yeah, Karnax, he's trying to make something happen. He does get a kill onto Mac, but ultimately, he gets arrowed down by Piggles. We talked about his arrows before last game. Dude plays on an insanely high sense, but he hits arrows like nobody. Like he's a fucking dollar.
Oh, before this one, I didn't even hear of Piggles.
He hits arrows like
he looks like a very slippery man.
He is slippery, but his arrows, for some reason, are always on point. I don't understand how. No matter if you're trying to hit an enemy or not.
And the blokes are just rolling in.
Yeah, they're just going forward. Olga's been killed. Crayon does die in the exchange, but the Uber is just going to be enough to take them forward here. Actually wrapped around, trying to take care of these players behind, and Piggles, you know, finding himself in a little bit of a dangerous situation. He does live, yet again. Has he died more than like twice this game so far? I don't think he has.
I don't think so. Alien was the last player behind, and he got cleaned up. So now it's just going to be a cookie cutter 4v5 gameplay here as blokes are pushing into mid very aggressively.
Max just spawned as well in there. Yeah, they're being very aggressive. They do get punished for it though, both Zodiac and Left dead, which pretty much means that that push is just stalled. There's nothing they can do now, and they just have to just wait as Frenchies make their way forward through Saw here, looking to take a lot of aggression. Mac does pick up Raf with a good trap actually, which is going to slow them down.
Raf gets double bombed by the French soldier duo.
Absolutely nutted on. But yeah, it might not be enough for the blokes here. Again, the Uber situation looking very even, but they have to mount a pretty good hold here. I think the Frenchies, they're starting to feel the burn. Maybe they do want to put at least a round on the board. So.
Yeah, Frenchies definitely have to make something happen now.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 13 minutes left. They have to get at least 4 rounds to get any points out of this game.
Exactly. They do want to do something here. They do have a sniper on the side of Af as well. He's looking at the shutter door. Looks like he's expecting the Frenchies to come through there, and he's not making a bad decision, because it looks like the rest of the Frenchies are kind of mounted up to go there as well. Actually, Olga and Dimo both go down.
Yeah, both of the soldiers dying, and Karnax just hiding on barrels gets spotted by Lev, and this is easy for blokes.
Easy for blokes. Ooh, Raf getting a little bit of spam in there, and oh, that's a...
Surely this is going to be a free second point. Raf gets absolutely destroyed, trying to surf out, just eats a rocket, eats dirt.
Crayon also destroying Alien there. I mean, they do pick up Crayon and Left, but it's only going to slow down the blokes so much if they have this like advantage position. The Uber's still on both sides.
They're still staying in. They really want to take this fight.
They really do. And like the Uber's on both sides, so I think this is why. Yeah, the Uber comes out of both teams here. The exchange is happening, but it seems like a pretty null point. Like
it looks like Moa's going to get... Yeah, he's staying in 1v1ing up, and now finally gets him. And now
no heals on the side.
Yeah, and blokes are just going to play the beam, and it's going to be an easy cleanup.
I mean, that being said, Zodiac was really low there for a while, and Crayon does die as well. Finds himself disconnected from Pickles as well, but it's actually alone, and no, it crumbles!
That's what you don't want to do. Your medic stays alive, and the enemy medic is dead. You just want to stay around the beam, man.
Yeah, you don't want to be disconnected like that. It's bad. Well, it's going to be the Frenchies pushing forward immediately. Killer's cleaning up Mac there. He was alone. He was not doing a good job against 2 scouts. That's a round for the Frenchies.
Well, they got a round.
Yeah.
Gotta give it to them.
They just got to get 4 more if they want to win.
I mean, they got 11 minutes left.
Or 3 more if they want to tie. It's doable. It's definitely happened before. We've seen it. So let's see if they can actually do so. Headed into this 6th round now. Damn. Quite a lot of rounds.
Happy birthday, TF2. I've been noticing a lot of the balloons.
Yeah, there's a lot of
the half packs.
It is indeed. And it is indeed Team Fortress's birthday this weekend, I believe. So that's great as well. Perfect time to have LAN. All right, let's see how these teams are doing here. Big bomb in by Crayon, trying to do something. He does essentially trade with Olga there, as both just crater to their doom. Gravity wins again, and now Devo trying to aggress a little bit as well. He was in behind, does not really do much. I guess Af got cleaned up by Raf, but that's about it. And yeah, Raf is also dead, so...
And Alien was the only one staying alive, and so just getting chased by three other bloke players, and that was an easy cleanup as well. It looks like they want to roll this straight away to last, because Alien's spawn is so late that it's eventually gonna be just 5v5 if they push him now.
That being said, they haven't even capped 2nd yet.
And they're just hiding in this cheese area. Look at the combo there.
Oh, what are they trying? What are they scheming? What are these players trying to move here? What is this maneuver? There's a forbidden technique that I've never seen.
I think they just want to bait out the aggression from the Frenchies.
Yeah. Or they just want to... I guess they're just going to do it normally now. They were trying to bait it out, but it didn't really happen, so... Yeah, they're just going to be pushing this normally as is usual. The sentry does pick up left before getting taken down, though. And Devo finally going down on that.
Mac goes down to spam as well.
Mac, yeah, gets cleaned
up. But they're still staying in. They
have the Uber,
really
so
don't fear.
Very early Uber use. He didn't achieve much with it either. That's unfortunate. Crayon does go down, and yeah, Mula just has his own to respond with to chase out these remaining Bloke players, really. And they should be able to just take 2nd off the back of this. And actually, Blokes are aggressing a little bit, trying to, you know, maybe slow them down.
And the left just bombs and eats Alien alive. And this is just crumble from the Frenchies. They're just all dying left and right.
No,
That was such a good bomb by Left.
Yeah, but Blokes just win the post-Uber fight again, really. That's why it boils down to Raf, the only person alive. Obviously, he's not going to be able to do much. He's on 9 health, and that's it. Blokes take another round.
You know, sometimes you just send a soldier in, and he just distracts so much. And at the same time, if he gets like an insta-kill on your scout, that's pure fear. If I was that scout, I'll be bailing out of the server.
Absolutely.
You know, typing disconnect into console.
You might have a bind for it even. It's even better. Especially when you accidentally press it. It's lovely. Right, head into this 7th round. Again, spam being exchanged. Let's see how these teams look to approach this one. Obviously, it's been dominant so far by the Blokes, but the Frenchies did have 1 mid, and it's always been the team that wins mid wins the round. That being said, Crayon and Karnax essentially trade, and Olga also gets picked up. Left is onto the medic here. Does he get Mula? He does not. He
doesn't, but he trades himself for 2 other players, and that's so good because Mula is now cut off alone in Sol, and he's just gonna, you know, die super late. And that's very bad for his team because look at that respawn time.
Yeah,
12 seconds for Mula.
Long.
And that means that when Pickles spawns and he starts building with someone, they're just gonna have uber advantage for this last.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't be surprised if it was like extremely large, like 50% or something.
It's around 20.
25, 20, yeah. Okay, but fair enough. That's still something to write home about. You got a little few second window there that you could work with if you just want to push it off the back of that. That being said, Frenchies have actually stabilized on 2nd, despite essentially getting wiped at mid.
It looks like we are just dry pushing into grass here.
Yeah, that's what they're...
perspective, and Ralph is just gonna get caught out 100%.
Oh, Mula dies as well, and so
in the left with the big bomb again, just getting a 2k on Mula and Alien. That was crazy good.
Af also cleans up Olga behind him.
Evil is behind, but he's gonna be falling down.
You died to that. That situation. There's nothing you can do. Karnax now the only player alive. Obviously, he's gonna run for his life.
He's literally flying through the map.
Yeah, he's like flying away, trying to live. It did work. He did meet up with Mula again.
Elon Musk hired this man.
They actually do have a slight ad now, because Mula started building a little bit earlier. But let's see if that is enough to write home about it. The timer's definitely ticking down now. They have to pull out 1 minute 30
The
rounds.
Frenchies are so aggro in lobby, and
They really
just
are.
getting mulched by Mac. To speed.
He's laying so much damage into them.
And they're just getting wrapped around by top left.
again.
And that's gonna be a game.
Crayon again.
Oh.
Crayon and left, both.
How many weird rounds have we seen where the blokes are just gonna wrap around and just get a backup out of nowhere?
It's happened.
Or it was Crayon, right? He was
Crayon
jumping
both times,
behind
actually.
with the pain train.
Just jumps through. Like, you know, bait the Frenchies out, essentially, and then just go for the back cap.
You know, sometimes you just see an opportunity and you really have to go for it.
You have that window, you want to use it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And if you're not 7 and you're not covering every entrance, you don't have drag watching that big door,
Exactly.
you're gonna get back up eventually.
That happens very much in this game, unfortunately. Oh well. Overall, though, I mean, the Frenchies, obviously, they lost, but they didn't perform horribly.
I mean, at least they got the round,
Yeah.
right?
They put a round on the
It's
board.
1 round on the scoreboard.
Better enough.
We are gonna be throwing you guys over to the analyst desk, and they're gonna be talking more about the game that we've just watched.
Thanks, boys. Thank you very much. And nope, no, we are not, because I know that was an exciting game in the sense that I was 4-0, 15 minutes in, it went straight into it, but I've got my 2 analysts here, and they're foaming at the mouth practically to talk about all the other games that have been going on. So I'm going to get out your system, boys. Go on, the floor's yours. Tell me what you want to talk about.
Yeah, in a sea of scheduling issues, we unfortunately missed a really nice match, apparently, which was Ascent EU versus Aura Electro, which happened a little bit before this game even started. So what happened is essentially it was a tie, which no one would expect, right? You look back to the regular season, Aura Electro just got completely washed away by Ascent EU double 5-0, I believe it was, on Metal and Snakewater. It was Snakewater again, and they managed to pull out a really close game. I had a quick glance over the logs, and it was like a blue sea of Ascent players on top of the logs damage-wise, and somehow Eames on top of that with like 10k damage, crowning them all. So whatever we said before, wherever we criticized him before in the previous game against Big Blow Clan, who clearly are still doing well here, he improved massively in just a matter of about an hour, and now he's just destroying again.
I have a theory on that, honestly. Eames is a self-proclaimed big brain gamer. If you are
wait, so he's not a certified fragger?
No. Self-proclaimed.
Okay.
Different kind of certificate.
This is okay. All right. Sorry.
Completely different kind of setup, right?
Really
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's all good, right? So, if you are Eames, right, and you're looking at the big teams you prepare for, not to BM, right? You're not going to look at one of the teams which is, you know, full of someone like the lower prem players. You're going to be looking at, you know, those top 4, right? If you're going to counter-strike anyone, if you're going to, you know, understand like the inner workings of how they play, it's going to be someone like possibly Ascent. I feel like that makes sense with the whole way that Aura does things.
That is really like an Aura thing that happens, though, right?
It is. They've done it with 7.
Yeah, they keep having these closes up with 7s over the course of the past few years, where they somehow are like the most consistently strong like scrim partner 7 has.
Yeah.
And also one of the most willing ones to go through what 7 is doing to teams a lot of the time. but they're doing it to learn from them, yeah. And by doing so, they miss out maybe just learning some of the quirks that 7 isn't doing, but other teams are very much willing to do. And
yeah.
They might have not prepared for this team here, for Big Blow Clan, but they have prepared after that loss against Ascent EU, after the 2 losses in playoffs as well.
Exactly.
To not have this happen again. And the playoff game was already a little bit closer, for sure, but it was still a matter of 2 maps. And now they come out here and make it as close as possible, even.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. I just want you to know how interested the analysts get by how much you see Dum Tum slowly turn away from me and keep his back to me. That's how much he was enthralled with this game. But I just want to reel it in just for a second, boys. Let's talk about the Frenchies at least just a little bit. Did anybody catch the game, or were you guys too busy looking at?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
All right, come on. Talk a little bit about the Frenchie game. Come on.
Okay, so ultimately, and I think most people who viewed it would agree, it was very much the ball was in the Big Blow court from the very start, right? There was a little bit of back and forth, some kind of tussling at the start, you know, kind of same as what we saw with the Frenchies in one of the previous games, where they were kind of, you know, feeling each other out, and then Big Blow just kind of turned on, and they just started doing almost seemingly whatever they wanted. Like, I don't know whether the fatigue's hitting some of the Frenchie guys. I don't know I believe at least a couple that may not have properly kind of got in into the LAN to like actually today. You know, I don't think there's that many who were kind of able to prepare yesterday. But there's definitely some situations which like don't make any sense, right? Some weird stuff which only happens on LAN because you're just seemingly kind of just uncoordinated. You know, situations like Pickles eats a random pipe and then dies. It's like, oh cool, you've dropped your Uber. Then everyone just runs forward and then they just cap without really doing anything else. You know, they didn't have to force an Uber or like whatever. Everyone just stood away, they capped the point, right? That stuff's weird, right? I feel like the Frenchies, if they were kind of, they had their Weetabix in the morning, it was about, 12 kind of midday, they were like happy, ready to go, that wouldn't really happen. But I feel like they got hit hard by fatigue, whereas the big blokes were like in their element, The land's starting to flow and they're starting to feel like, pretty good. It's like that Brit mentality,
Speaking of some big blokes, we've got some big logs here. Let's get them on the screen now.
Who was the biggest bloke, do you think?
Oh, well,
maybe the big bloke himself.
We can just look at the big bloke himself.
That's genuinely really funny.
He's right on top there, right, towering over everybody with the damage. And boys, I don't think these logs do justice, like how much of a kind of a whitewash this was, because it was 4-0 at like 15 minutes. I was eating halfway through a Subway, and then I had to just jog on over, like, oh my God, they're going to finish this game in like 15 minutes.
It was like this one-sided affair where still like a lot of chaos happened though. It was just a lot of messy fights that big block land just keep having the upper hand, and so obviously there's still going to be stuff that is going to go the Frenchies' way. They didn't like get out-damaged severely, at least, to the point where you just say, oh yeah, of course it's a roll. Like they didn't even get a chance to deal the damage to get the kills in the first place. No, there were enough messy fights that if you just take a first glance, yeah, it's a win, but it doesn't immediately look like a 6-1 until you maybe go down all the way to the bottom and see the Roma did not get the chances he wanted to, whereas obviously Left just completely had every opportunity given to him, and like Ipili said before, there's just things happen and it shouldn't, and especially a Roma or like a flank scout are the ones to capitalize off of those situations.
Yeah, it's looking like the story between the scouts here. Like you could just pretty much both of the scouts are just towering over the poor Frenchy scouts with all those deaths on both of them. Ooh, it's not good playing scout at LAN, is it, boys?
I mean, it's good to the degree that you're kind of you can kind of do your thing. Granted, I believe they're still kind of mostly playing online at the minute, so it's a different kind of situation.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't even have bags used to it.
I'm there, it's like, oh, it's LAN rockets. It's like, it's not even LAN.
Well, there's no debate about
God.
which server to use, at least.
No,
it's still an even playing field at the very least.
Exactly. But like really, it was fundamentally one team just kind of outmatched the other. Like, all these situations where you have like I said, the big bloke scouts like 20 for 6 and you got 21 for 8. Like it's kind of night and day compared to, like Karnax was putting in like a respectable performance, but ultimately they just didn't have the same opportunities, They didn't have the same kind of, obviously as a scout you can make loads of incredible individual plays, but if you feel kind of suffocated when it comes to space, it becomes incredibly difficult for you to kind of move forward with the rest of your team. Yeah. Their kind of team dynamic in terms of taking space and kind of, initiating some of these fights, it just wasn't on the same tier as Big Bloke right now.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the medics, and the stats aren't too different, but let's go a bit more into the nitty-gritty. Maybe we can find some differences here. And the things I'm noticing immediately, 2 drops coming out of Pickles. What on their bellies? They won.
It's again one of those weird things, right? Like something bad happens to Big Bloke LAN, and then they just capitalize off it greatly. It's like this sort of Ascent EU thing, right? Where sometimes they just suddenly like increase in power level by 50% the moment Connor dies. And it was kind of the same story here. Pickles dies, and suddenly they just win out of nowhere, and it has no right to happen. And it just goes to show what kind of game this was, which is surprising because you would imagine, oh, it's like the lowest seeded teams in the invite group. This would be a close game, but somehow it was like the biggest showcase of like levels in terms of skill that we've seen so far today.
Yeah, they do strike me as a team that it's not so much a heal beam, it's more like a heal leash. Like the second that leash comes off, they just go a bit apeshit, really. And I mean, I can even remember from the last Copenhagen LAN where basically I remember standing behind the Theorist and they had lost a demo man to a sniper. They had a horrible Uber in earlier. The enemy team had Uber. They were like, no, lads, let's dry push it. They won't see it coming. And they just went in.
And I would imagine they didn't see it coming. Yeah. I mean, I hesitate to use the phrase clown fiesta, but sometimes it works, right? Especially at LAN. Like, it's not even like it's a particularly weird or stupid thing to do. Like, it makes sense at LAN, right? Because everyone's like a little bit uncomfortable. You're not really on your computer half the time. You know, there's someone like spilling drinks behind you, and you know, you're kind of like getting prepared for whatever. And then before you know it, that situation where you thought you'd have at least 5-6 seconds just to kind of coordinate things before you do your big Uber ad push out of last or whatever. Suddenly there's just like 3 guys who are hiding around a corner. There's someone coming from lower. Everyone's got pain trains on because it's 2019, and then a point gets capped, and you're just like, what the hell just happened? Like, it seems like that is the kind of thing that Big Bloke kind of went for, and as a result, it's kind of like, just purely log-wise and medic, like they seem pretty much the same. There's, like a few kind of differences, like the drops obviously go in the way that you wouldn't really expect for like the winning team. The heals are basically identical. Like, you got some differences when it comes to like time before using things like that. But
please look at the biggest advantage lost: 41 seconds. They have 41 seconds to do something with an advantage, and they did nothing. I need to know the context. Why?
I mean, if there's just constant chaos, then people just die. You match alone. What are you going to do?
If there's
Pop
nobody
on nothing?
to Ubo, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like they just never got into positions where they could really comfortably have a good advantage push going the way they wanted to. And even if they did, then we have another one to look at. Average time before using being 30 seconds higher. Like, even in the even worse damage, they just never got the same good opportunities that a Big Block LAN got. And in the end, only one team got clowned on in this Clown Fiesta.
All right, I think I've heard enough of the Clown Fiesta. Let's pack away these logs. Let's get our beautiful faces back on the screen. And let's talk about the things that you really want to talk about. I know. Let's talk about Aura Electro. Let's talk about Eames. Now, I heard Eames' team was described to me as like 5 bad players and Eames. I mean, is that true? Yeah, I know.
Who said that out of interest?
I'm not going to reveal his name. Don't worry, it's not me. But he's anonymous for the sake of this argument. But still, I mean, is that true? With a game like that, where he's got 10k damage, towering above everybody else on this team, is Eames really the factor for Aura Electro?
I mean, sometimes somebody just has to step up, and the rest of them are performing below standard. And it just sometimes takes one performance like this to get the rest of them on board again. Sure, the stats one maybe like incredible beyond Eames, but as long as everybody's playing off it the way they should, the game will continue in their favor nonetheless. And they managed to pull out a really good performance against a team where you would imagine just the skill levels as well as playstyle differences would not be favoring them whatsoever. And they managed to get a tie out of it, which after an upset against Big Block LAN, they will need all the points they get to keep themselves in a really good position into playoffs.
How do you think this affects the big picture of things, Epoli? I mean, we were talking about rock, paper, scissors earlier, but now with Aura Electro coming in like this, is it rock, paper, scissors, Eames? Like, what do you...
I mean, we've already got 4 teams, so the rock, paper, scissors thing starts to fall apart a little bit. But then adding a 5th one into the mix, I mean, honestly, why not at this point? Like, if the teams have done the homework, it makes it just a little bit more difficult tonight, really, for a lot of the teams. Obviously, they still have a game left to go. And then after that, suddenly, if Aura's going to come into the picture as one of these teams which actually is going to start rivaling the top 4, then every team leader of the top 4 teams has got to sit there and be like, maybe we've got to spend some time looking at some Aura demos today, Maybe we've got to start looking about, specifically, we know what works against, Feint, we know what works against, 7, whatever. But now we've got to think about specifically what can we do if we get into a best of 3 versus Aura tomorrow, because, if you start getting knocked down in a best of 3 already by a team which, you've not really been able to prepare for because you just didn't anticipate there'd be that much competition, that's going to feel really bad.
It's going to be scary. Now, we've still got one more round, and usually this last round doesn't really play into the big picture of things. Usually, tables are kind of solidified. It's already been decided in a way, but because of how close things have been going tonight, who do you think's performance in this final round is going to need it the most? Like, which team is really relying on a good round 7 performance tonight?
Basically everybody but 7 and Feint. 7 and Feint had like the most rock-solid performances today. I think not on stream was also 7 versus Ascent and A, which was a 3-2 victory. I don't remember the map they played.
I believe it's Granary, I think it was.
Ooh, interesting.
I think it was Granary. I'm pretty sure I walked past them when they were playing it.
That seems like a map I would imagine 7 to be strong on, yeah. So it's going to be interesting for everybody below that to just fight out plays 3 to 8 among each other, really.
Epoli closes out with some final words. What are we going to expect coming into this next round?
more or less what Dom said. Every single team is going to be looking at this, being like, we need this last little kind of win, you know? There's no team which is towered above the rest. There's no kind of two which is above the rest. Like, we have an absolute bloodbath, as I predicted, and I feel like you can't really afford to stop now. You got to keep on going all the way to the end.
All right, thank you very much, boys. Thank you, Eepily. Thank you, Dum Tum. And thank you, me, TurboTabs here hosting. And we're going to be going into our round 7 fairly shortly, but we'll be going over to a quick ad break. And, yeah, okay. So
over to the break, I guess.
I guess we're over to the break, yeah.
One more round to go.